So I'm coming here and I'm stabbing in and then striking to the body there, okay? This Waza is pretty simple looking, but that's the, those are the steps. So here, driving in with a ski, okay? This one is supposed to be done two-handed actually, so. It's a Doufuri, so I'm striking Do with this this next strike. One more time over here. Mune Muso no Kamae. This tucks under. I'm stabbing in. There's various targets for this. Right now, let's just go for the Butsumetsu area. Okay. So here, stabbing in. Okay. Then this sweeps there. You can add this in there if you'd like, right? If he hasn't let go of his sword yet, it might be good to take him to the ground like that. One more, please. So that, okay? It's a two-handed strike, okay? You can drive it through with your body and just bring him down. And then you have him here, okay? Hey, you guys. Sorry to interrupt. There's a more formal attack that may be helpful, which is coming to this kamae first. Okay, that just might help for distance and timing, right? Obviously, in real life, nobody will attack that way, but it's good for learning to start that way, maybe, right? So you draw out and you bring this back to Bobi. Okay. This first move, this tucks under the arm. Okay, I see people just doing it like this. That's not the move. It tucks under the arm here, and then my body does the ski. Okay, it's very important since it's a one-handed strike, you're supporting it with your whole body. And if you do that with the right feeling, right? So he's gonna attack here. If you do this with the right feeling, you know, it drives him down. So here. So I'm tacking that into the ribs, right? Yeah, it could break something. I'm not really doing it, but you could imagine that there, okay? So. Yeah, and I'm just hovering here. He has no idea. Jesse had a question about the cover here. So if Richard is attacking, so if I stay way out here and then try to come in, that's still quite the hazard. Okay, so that's not what I'm doing. So Richard's attack is coming to me, right? So if I just pivot, that already brings me to here. Okay. So I'm not just pivoting, I'm stepping in. And you see I'm already beyond that. So even if he wants to cut back to me, it's hard for him to do so, right? He's up against my body. There's no space. Sensei always talks about taking away their space so they can't cut at you, right? So think about if he's stabbing, if I just pivot, I'm already at the Suba. So that's just me standing in place and pivoting. But I'm doing more than pivoting. I'm stepping in slightly, right? So here. Does that make sense? That's for the pivot version, but we're not doing the pivot version, right? We're doing the version that's closing distance. Okay. So when you close distance, you get beyond the blade, and you use your own body to eliminate the space. That's another important tip, right? So if Richard's stabbing, and I'm way out here, and I leave all this space between us, even if I strike, Richard can backswing, okay? Because there's a lot of room there for him to swing. Okay, so I take away that space from him. One more time. So see how I've closed all this space? Now it's hard for him to backswing. And I have this other hand still too. All right. You okay? So that back fist sucks. You guys got the idea? So take away that space that he can use to backswing on you with your body, with your positioning. most of you guys have already discovered this Hanka. As Robert comes in here, right, you strike here, and then you pick up this arm, right? So then that becomes like Skeiri, right? So I think a lot of you have already discovered that Hanka. So you can keep trying that one. It's a good one. But you can also come in above the blade and his arm. Okay, so now when I bring that across, it's there. So this is above his arm and the blade. I can keep a long range here if I want to stay away from that, right? See how I stay connected to him here? So, well, I'm trying to figure out what he's up to, right? I saw him re-grab that blade, so I'm maintaining zanshin. You know, you have to watch those things. That would be the end of it right there, right? So this, instead of dogiri, now it's like to men. Okay, just coming up above his arm. And there's a little trick to that, which I'm not going to share yet. I want to let you guys try. I always keep those little surprises in reserve. All right, try it out, please. So Jesse figured out the secret, but not everybody did. So score for Jesse. So I'm going to talk about that for a second. And it's especially appropriate if someone's taller than you. Okay, so he comes here. So I don't want to try to reach over this and have all that gap and danger in there. Okay, that's really difficult for me. So instead, I come here and bring him down to my level. You can place this on the shoulder and then swing through, okay? So it could be this hand doing it, dropping him down, right? Or it could be the tip of your staff. Okay. Yeah, so if I just keep this at her face, she's naturally going to backswing there, and it's dangerous for me. Okay. So instead, it's matching her arm here and covering. Okay. I can use this to press in the shoulder, or I can use this other hand to drop her down. You okay? Did that wake you up? Okay. So think about using the tip here to control his height or the space. You're not just popping him in the face with it. It's doing more than that. Hey James, I think why you're getting caught like that is you're raising this too early. So as he stabs, I'm here and now it raises. Yeah. If you raise it too soon, which is what's happening with you, then you're getting caught up in here somehow. Like I saw you that last time get caught like that or something, you know. So think of this as your shield, right? We haven't talked about this part yet, but this is, guarding me here. Okay. Anybody get cut yet? Yeah, in class it's important to get hit or cut or mess up, that's part of training. That's how we learn. Sensei says that all the time too. And like, if I'm having trouble with a mutodori or anything, I'll just let my partner hit me, because then that gets that over with, and you can start really training instead of worrying about looking perfect, So this time I'm on this side, okay? Back to the Doufuri. So this is like we were doing earlier. You could strike his hand here, right? This hand picks this up here and strikes in there, okay? So I've just locked up his leg here, but I'm not really doing anything. Okay, if I want, I can take other stuff. So here, right? You see how close I am? So then I pick this up to go out there. So here, right? If I miss, I get this long distance. Okay. So here, okay. So this distance is a little close, and he could backswing to me easily, right? So that's why I come here and get this longer range. Okay. One more time. It sucks for him. And then here you can pick up these things. Right? Okay? Any questions? It's to do. So I come here towards Kote, right? I pick up my staff and strike across his body. The name of this Waza we're doing is ski Doufuri, right? So this target is to do. This initial strike, right? James just got out of there because he didn't like it. But you're trying to disarm the sword, right? So you could do this attack that we were doing like at the beginning of class, right? Or you can tuck this under here and do that, okay? And you guys maybe couldn't see, James, just hold your sword out for a second. If you're attacking on top of this thumb joint there, it's really mean, and I'll show the camera. If you attack on top of that thumb joint, it's going to make it hard for him to stay hanging on. Okay, so one more time. So I just pivot here. All right. So it's disarming the sword is a good choice if you can. It might not work. He might miss. You know, he may be stronger than you expect. So then you go for the next strike. So as that flips up, you see where it's struck there. I didn't even use my body. I was trying to be nice to him. So it's like that's the beat down feeling, right? So you take this short end and you just drop your body on that thumb joint. And if he doesn't let go, it'll hurt a lot. All right? So it's basically the same move, right? That we just did. So here, you notice he doesn't want to stay in there. I'm late for some reason. Maybe I'm not paying attention. He's got his short sword out. He comes in. So Soke, in Japan, Soke was attacking with the Suba. Okay. So that's the end of that, right? One more time. So here. You notice my distance, so I'm staying away, just in case. It's part of the draw. You're attacking with the Kashira there, or the Suba. Okay? Does that make sense? So by drawing it out of the saya, it makes it a little longer, right? One more time. So, it's scary, huh?
Yeah, it is.
I was aiming for your beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So you start with it partway out of the saya, and that's one of the reasons for this kind of Hail Mary move, because you didn't have time to get it out of your saya, you know? So you're using your own suka to defend yourself. So as he cuts in, I have this partway out of my saya when I'm striking. Okay, so what I'm seeing everybody do is keeping it in the saya and trying to strike. That's a whole different feeling, okay, and a different distance. So it's partway out of my saya when I strike. Does that make sense? One more time. All right, so think about that. let it come out of your saya part way. You were late, but not that late. So then you can attack with the suba to his hands or your kachira, right? Try that. So your distance is even later here, right? More time. So I didn't have a chance to get this out of my saya yet. So see how that worked? You want to clear his blade out of the space if you're that late. Okay, one more time. I don't even have to take my sword out of the belt, right? And here. So that was just keeping the sword in the saya. Sometimes you don't want to kill the other person. So here, this time I didn't have a chance to draw. But this space is very dangerous for me. So I use that to clear, okay? And now I can decide what I want to do, whether I want to draw or not, right? Maybe I just want to get rid of this or draw as she falls, right? So on the inside, you can sweep it through this way.
Nice.
I'm using my body to shield here, right? So maybe you have another opponent or something. Does that make sense? So if this hasn't gotten out of the saya yet, maybe you're just too late. You use it to attack like we were with the Hanbo under the armpit, remember? It's that same feeling. And then use your body then to sweep it aside to clear space for yourself. So here, see all that space I can create? Yeah, you want to have that kind of freedom. If you decide to close distance, then you can do that out here where it's safer for you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Hey, you guys, be careful about grappling too much with this. I'm seeing people wrestle a little bit, so as James comes in here, instead I just want to sweep that out, okay? Don't think about wrestling so much with the blade, because you may not win that one. So even if I come here, right, I sweep that across and then slice as I leave, you know. If you need to grapple for some reason, do it at an angle that's safe for you. So I can start grappling here because I'm away from his weapons, right? So think about that. Try not to get yourself tied up in there with his arm and his sword, because then you yourself are trapped too. Okay? You guys may have noticed that there's like a kind of an expansion and contraction of space here. So the contraction happens at the beginning because you're kind of late and your evasion brings you close, but then things expand from there. Last month in Japan, Sensei kept talking about aida, which is these intervals, and he was using the image of skipping a stone across water. And when you skip a stone across water, it hits the water, and then it's kind of free flying for a second before it hits the water again. And in that moment where it's free flying, a lot can happen. And that's what you want to think about here. So the first moment when the stab comes in, the first skip might be when you're striking his hand. But then there's some free space that should occur there. And a lot of potential can happen in that moment. You guys know what I'm saying or understand the image? Yeah?
This, I don't know if it's late or not, but this half drawing out on the last Hanka, it kind of reminded me of the opening up from Uchugasho to the Tenshi, because you're kind of halfway, but it's not like
Right.
either open or closed.
Yeah, it's Chuto Hampa, right? The kind of half done, half measures. Robert, you got a short sword? Yeah. So here I don't have a sword, so Robert comes. I'm attacking with the weights, and then I increase the space. Okay? So to begin with, I just have this kind of concealed, And I'm punching his hand with the weight. Okay, so here, and I'm close now, but I don't want to stay close, so I let that fly open to increase distance. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I thought you were using the knuckles the first time. I didn't see it in your
I know, it was hidden, right? We could go to the other side too. So here, right, I'm just showing you guys that I increased that distance there because I want to stay away from his sword. There's another one that you will commonly see. So I'm here, right, and then as I release this, I come down on the sword itself. Okay. I'm not really doing it with this chain weapon because those weights are really mean. I was kind of working with that motion we started with tonight. So if this were a Hanbo, right, striking, I had the weights. I had the weight sticking out this way, right? So then as she comes in, I can strike like that and then let that free. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But you see my distance here. When I've let that free, I'm well clear of that. So then if she were to continue, if I missed her face or something, you know. But when I release this here, okay, stay still please. I'm releasing it towards his eyes, okay? That way if I miss, it's still gonna have the effect of distracting him. You see even there, like he knew I wasn't gonna hit him, but it had that effect, okay? So whichever side you're on, try to think about attacking his eyes, okay? You see how he ducked? So it's just the threat. It's not even necessarily the weight itself. The threat of it is enough to catch his attention. And that's what you want to happen. Okay, and then if it hits, it's even better. I'm trying to attack the eyes here, so there's a lot of ways to do that. James, yeah. So here, right, it's just Nakafuri, okay? You notice he got out of there because it sucks. So it's hard to see, but this weight is shooting directly out at him. I'm doing it like a shuto, right? One more time. You could do it to the body too, right? The first move though, I'm sweeping across here. Okay? I did that to his body so I could give some impact, right? How does it feel to you?
Bounced off the layers.
Oh, nice. Oh,
But even though it's just a weight covering here, but you're afraid of the whole space. So
right.
just he can have a guard just behind like an inch long thing, so it's kind of crazy. I can't invade any of your space just because of that little inch there.
Yeah, this is an important feeling. Like you just fill up the kukan, right, and take it over. Or the way Sensei's been describing it the past few years is he talks about creating your own kukan, and it's like your little bubble inside this conflict that they can't affect you. So yeah, you can think